Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Pete Redica, together with Gerhard Rempel. We're Canadians situated down in the tropics of Belize, Central America. Well, folks, welcome to this March 1st Wealth Rising webinar and update presentation. Now, many of you have maybe not heard a lot from me over the course of the last little while, but been busy behind the scenes here and assisting my Uncle Gerhard here with our project here, and of course I am the main admin for Crowd Rising, which keeps me very busy. But we've got some exciting announcements following this webinar that we're going to be sharing with each and every one of you here today. So I just want to welcome everyone here. Just really appreciate you taking the time out to be on this March 1st webinar. I really want to recognize our leaders, our movers, shakers, and our doers, and of course the admin team. Vivian is not with us here today, but I've just been beside Gerhard here listening to the conversations that Vivian and Gerhard have had, and John Chapman, all the other people that are so involved in the admin side of Wealth Rising. There's many of them, and just want to say thank you to each and every one of you. You guys have done a stellar, phenomenal, amazing job. And we've got some great things to share with everyone here today. Now, first of all, on the topic today, Gerhard's going to be coming on. He's going to be sharing a little bit about what is happening here with March 1st. Many of you have heard today's a big day, and Wealth Rising will be turned over to a global cooperative following this webinar. Now, what does that mean, and where does that put you guys? Well, it means that Wealth Rising will ultimately belong to you, the valued participants and members of Wealth Rising. So Gerhard is going to go into details of that, and we're also going to be introducing a global affiliate portfolio that's going to be released here, and it's going to be pretty exciting, where all of our Wealth Rising participants are going to be helping to contribute to the CRF fund, which of course is the lifeblood of this program, and we'll make sure it's around for a long time and be sustainable. So without further delay, I'm going to just really turn this over to Gerhard. He's the one that has, I've seen him some nights, he doesn't go to bed. He's up all night long. I wake up and 6 o'clock in the morning, and he's still at that computer, and he's so passionate about helping each and every one of the members here. And those that have worked with him directly, or myself for that matter, I know many of you were personally invited into Wealth Rising by myself, but I am just here to give Gerhard the credit for where credit is due. He's bent over backwards for the community, and worked with and aligned himself with some amazing people that have just gone the extra mile to make this possible. So we're all here because of Wealth Rising. So join me in welcoming my uncle, friend, and business partner.
All right, thank you very much, Pete, and welcome everybody to this important webinar. As Pete has already said, my name is Gerhard. I'm the founder and creator of this project, along with my nephew Pete, and I'll just repeat what he has already said, that he has been awful busy with our other joint venture. He has not been able to spend the time on Wealth Rising with all of us as he would have liked to, but he has told me that is about to change. So I'm really looking forward to having my nephew Pete on board here with us and helping us, and all in all, it looks very good. Your Wealth Rising is really off to a very good start. It started kind of shaky, as all of you know, with the first system. It just didn't work. No matter what we did, it just didn't work out correctly. And then I decided to order a professional software to be created, and it's already, as most of you, and I'm pretty sure pretty much everybody already knows, that it's up and running. And there have been several minor bugs and glitches, and there might still be a few more, but rest assured that we have a professional North American programmer that created this system, and he's standing by, and he is fixing those glitches and bugs as they are being detected. There have been times where he got a bit overwhelmed, and that caused a huge backlog in the support tickets because we didn't have the correct information to reply to those tickets. So I really apologize for the huge delay in responding to the tickets, as well as getting the issues reported in those support tickets, getting them resolved. The program has a long list of issues that need to be resolved, and we are hard at work in getting that backlog out. He has, since those issues were reported, discovered and reported, he has since then uploaded several system updates. So 90% of those issues that are still in the backlog to be resolved, they are no longer presenting themselves. So that means we have pretty much a flawless system. However, we need to keep in mind that this is a brand new system, and just like with anything, there's always a possibility that there might be a few more hiccups here and there, but rest assured they will be dealt with as quickly as possible. And there are still several system updates waiting to be implemented, and the only way that those updates can be implemented is by either taking the site down completely, briefly, for a couple hours at the most, or simply just disable certain features depending on what the system update is all about. For example, the day before yesterday, the programmer had to disable the PA because he was uploading and installing a system update. Therefore, the PAs had to be disabled. It's an inconvenience, and we realize that, but that's, it is what it is. We want to take everything, do everything necessary in order to make this 100% flawless. Only as we have always said, only the best will do for our global community, and we really mean that, and that is our goal. We will not stop until we have a 100% fully functional, flawless system. Whatever time it takes, whatever kind of work it takes, we will spare no expenses. We will stop at nothing to achieve that goal. And once that's all up and running, that's when we're going to start, putting the affiliate portfolio together. That's way too much to be explained all on this call. For the sake of time, I will just briefly explain what how all of this will take place. So let me start off by the very first topic of the day, which is the global cooperative. As Pete has said, as of this webinar, at the end of this webinar, Wealth Rising will be known as a global cooperative assistance project. There will be no changes in terms of how it works, none of that. So please let's not misinterpret anything or assume anything. It will continue exactly as it is now. There will be no changes made unless we absolutely see a need to make any changes, and if such an event should present itself, then you, the community members, as Pete has said, which is the next topic that we will be talking about, turning this over to the global community. So therefore, as of that moment, you will be part of the cooperative. You will no longer just be a member of Wealth Rising. You will be a cooperative affiliate, if you will. I don't know exactly what the correct terminology is, but I'm sure you understand where I'm going with this. Now, I'm sure a lot of you already know how a cooperative works, whether it's an online cooperative or if it is a real offline co-op or a cooperative. The idea is, and the reason behind this, is to create multiple streams of income for the cooperative, so that it will no longer just be what it currently is, a mutual financial assistance project. That will not change. That will remain as it is. And again, if only if major changes need to be made, we will make an announcement. We will share what we have seen, what we have observed, what needs to be changed, and then the majority will decide how we will proceed from that point forward. And that's how the whole process will be. There will be no longer any any executive decisions being made when it comes into important changes or whatever, they will always first be announced, and those that care about the project, they will be given an opportunity to have their voices heard, and you will be given time to share your opinions, suggestions, and make recommendations. Of course, you know it would be humanly impossible to implement all of the ideas and suggestions, but the idea is to present whatever the case may be, and give an opportunity for it to be discussed in a meeting or in a webinar, whatever you want to call it, and then at the end of the day, it will be put to a vote, and that's how we will conduct business from this point forward. Now, the next thing I want to talk to you about is the affiliate portfolio. The reason for that is, as I've said before, the idea is to create multiple streams of income to sustain our current business model. Well, it's not a business, but for simplicity's sake, I'm referring to it as as our business model, what the concept currently is. And so to make sure that we have that Wealth Rising will always be in very, very good shape, that this project will always have a large reserve in the event of a slow period or for whatever reason there may be not enough PAs coming in. By the way, PA provide assistance, RA to request assistance. So the community reserve, the CRF, it will serve as our insurance policy. I like to refer to it as an insurance policy for easy understanding why I decided that we had to have an insurance policy, the CRF, the Community Reserve Fund. So everybody will contribute to that reserve fund, and that is everybody's insurance policy. That your RA that you will be requesting tomorrow, next week, next month, 6 months from now, a year from now, that insurance policy will be in place, and there will be funds behind that insurance policy to make sure that those future RAs, not only ours, but for those to come into our community and future generations, that insurance policy needs to be there, and as our community grows, so will that insurance policy, so will that reserve grow. And once we feel confident, and when I say we, that means all of us. Once the community feels comfortable that we have a very, very healthy reserve, then we will start to, we will start to suggest investments, or instead of letting those funds just sit there gathering dust, they wouldn't do nobody good. So then we will start to make suggestions or present ideas of investing part of those funds, part of our reserve, as another stream of income. We will suggest various things, businesses, whatever it is, real hard assets that the community can fall back on in the event of an economical meltdown, or whatever the case may be. We don't know what the future holds. We don't have, at least not that I know of, anybody has a crystal ball so we can just see what the future holds. So because of that, I feel in need of having something in place that we can fall back on, right? So that pretty much is it. That this affiliate portfolio, that will be explained in great detail on a separate webinar, where nothing but that will be talked about, so to make sure that everybody understands, that everybody will be well informed what exactly that is, and all of the opportunities. There will only be a few. This is not about creating hundreds and hundreds of different affiliate programs. No, only a few well-researched companies or businesses will be presented in the or will be included in that affiliate portfolio. And like I said, it will be explained in great detail on a separate webinar, a special webinar exclusively for the affiliate portfolio. That will be the start of creating multiple streams of income, outside sources of revenue coming in for our global cooperative. Now the next thing, or at this time, I would just like to turn it back to Pete. He has quite a bit more that he wants to share with us. So with that said, Pete, I'm turning this over to you.
Thank you so much, Gerhard, for all the updates. Just again, appreciate everything that you do for the better of this entire community. As I'm going through the chat here, I'm seeing so many familiar faces, so many of the members that I've worked with over many years, and it's just wonderful to see you all here. Now, I want to back up a little bit, just for the sake of everyone here in attendance. Some of you know us really well, some of you don't know us really well. I want to just back up and give you guys a little bit of an insight as to how Wealth Rising came about and what happened. And obviously, most of you know that our sister project, it's a standalone project, it's Crowd Rising, and I am the main admin for that program, along with my assistant admin, Terry Martell. And currently, we have 300,000 participants in that database, and it takes a lot of time and energy to run support, to make sure that everything is running efficiently and effectively. But you know, Crowd Rising was really the gateway to Wealth Rising, and I think it's important to mention that here on the webinar today, because when we originally created the concept of Wealth Rising, I could tell you stories here, folks, of Gerhard and myself in Canada sitting at Tim Hortons for hours and days and weeks on end, and pages and pages and pages of notes. There were doodles, and how about this, and how about that, no, scrap that. Let's create something here that's phenomenal. Because I want to, again, share where that vision came from. Most of you know MMM Global and many other these Bitcoin communities that are out there. Gerhard and I were involved in a project called Zwang out of China. The concept was phenomenal. It was amazing. Admin was horrible. But we looked at this model, and I brought Gerhard into that platform, and had about 2,000 people in my organization. After a very short period of time, we saw the appetite, we saw the interest, we saw the energy that people had for this type of community. But unfortunately, when admin is irresponsible, it puts a real damper on anything and everything that you do. So Gerhard and I said, you know what if we could come up with something, a concept? And Gerhard kept going on and on about this. I love the way this works. I love the concept. We both loved it. But you know what? That is really where the whole idea of creating this peer-to-peer element of Wealth Rising came in. And but there were so many things, just like when Crowd Rising came out, when we launched that, there were so many things that we felt we could do so much better than previous admins have done, create a much better support system, a much better environment for everyone. That same mentality has been adopted, if you will, in this sister project, even though it is completely standalone, separated from Crowd Rising. But nevertheless, the same ownership, the same sense of we can do something magnificent for our people here. Give them a home. Give them something they can believe in. Give them something that they can trust and just feel like they can invite anyone without having the wool pulled over their eyes or the carpet pulled from beneath your feet. That is the vision that went into this. And again, countless hours of meticulous, detailed planning went into this project. And I'm so excited to see so many familiar faces in this room. And I am just absolutely thrilled to say that I'm going to be working a lot closer with you folks over the coming weeks and months ahead. There's some great things that I'm going to share at the end of the webinar here. But I know Gerhard's got lots more that he wants to share with you. But I thought I would just interject that and just share a little bit how the vision of Wealth Rising came. So Gerhard, back to you, my friend.
Okay, now the next and the most important topic on the agenda here tonight, or this, well, for us it's in the afternoon or it's in the evening. It's 3:20 p.m. here in Belize. So this is the most exciting and as far as I'm concerned, the most important topic of the day for Wealth Rising. This project, which is now known as a global cooperative. We'll leave out the word financial because that sounds too much like a business. And we got to make sure that we're using appropriate verbiage. So therefore, the word financial must be left out. The slogan, or it will be known as Wealth Rising, will be known as a global cooperative assistance project. We all already know how this works, what it is, and what everybody needs to do to make this happen, not only for ourselves, but for those that we invite into our community. And rest assured, if all goes well, if we, once we have all of the bugs and kinks worked out, once we have a flawless system, an appropriate email handler that can handle the mass amount of emails, and everything will be working flawlessly. We fully expect this to go viral around the world very, very quickly, and I fully expect that to happen, and I'm fully convinced that it will happen. So now that this is as of this webinar, Vault Rising is now owned by the community. It is no longer owned by myself or by any one particular private individual. It is now owned by the global community. As of right now, this project is as much yours as it is mine, as much as it is Pete's, as much as it is anybody present in this room. So I want everybody to understand what exactly that means. That you are now, how should I describe this? Again, for simplicity's sake, let me refer to it as you are now co-owners of this cooperative. Therefore, it is in our best interest, in everybody's best interest, to make sure that this project, this cooperative, will always be managed properly, and we already have several safety measures in place to guard against cheating, any form of hacking. The program has created unique proprietary snooping software. It's already in place, and we have observed it carefully, and it has detected all kinds of unethical behavior by a multitude of, that's probably the wrong word, but let's just say by a fairly large group of individuals that have attempted to cheat. We fully expected this, that there would always be people out there that are out there for no good reason, and we have seen this Snoopy software work like you wouldn't believe. It has detected all kinds of unethical and suspicious activity, and what do? We suspend those accounts immediately. There is absolutely nothing a participant can do once that account has been suspended. They can't log in, they can't do absolutely nothing. The only recourse they have is to contact support. They can send in a guest support ticket by using the Contact Us on the website, which reminds me, I will go into that a little bit later during the Q&A. But anyways, as of right now, this project is now owned by the community. And again, I will repeat this as many times as necessary for everybody to understand that you are now part of this cooperative. It is now as much yours as it is mine and everybody else's. Therefore, we need to treat it as our very own business, whether it be a real business, it be an online business. Again, I'm only using the word business, for a point of reference. So as with any business, whether it's an existing business or you start a brand new business, if you do not take care of that business, then very, very soon you will have worked yourself, or we will have worked ourselves out of business. And I don't think there's a single one in our entire community that would deliberately like to see that happen, right? So let's treat it as what it is. It's ours, it's yours, it's mine, it's everybody's. So let's all band together, lock arms, as my nephew Pete always likes to say. Let's lock arms and run this race together. Let's all do our part and make sure that we protect and preserve this project and move forward. We have built it on a solid, rock solid foundation. Right now, Vault Rising is in a very, very good shape. I'm very, very happy, and I'm just stoked and delighted to share with you from the bottom of my heart and being open and transparent about this when I say that Vault Rising currently is in very, very good shape. So we are off to a very good start, and again, let's make sure that we keep it that way. And with that said, we will have one, together, all of us together, we will create a monster of a cooperative the world has ever seen. That's my expectation. That's my dream. That's my vision. Where we want to take this. It is new. It is unheard of. It's unique for the most part. It's unlike anything else out there. Of course, it has several similarities, right? But the fact of the matter is, for the most part, it's unique. It's different. It's not a copycat of anything out there. So now then, this is what a very, very important thing to know, for everybody to know. Just because this project is not owned by the community, it does not mean that there will be a change of management, at least not for, for the foreseeable future. I am fully prepared and I am fully committed to remain in the current position. I have communicated with our awesome support team, and they have all shared their input, their feedback, and they're all prepared. They're all fully prepared and ready to continue in their current position. And that gives me a lot of confidence, because I know these people. I worked with them for quite some time already. So I know when I ask them to do something, I don't have to go back and check and see if they actually did it, because I already know they will have done it. And if they were unable to do it, they come back to me and for further instructions, and together we study whatever the case is that presented itself. It gets dealt with, and then we move on to the next. So as far as the management is concerned, it will remain as it is. Pete is now having more time that he can come, like I said before, and he shared with you himself that very soon he will not be able to spend more time with us, so he will come on board in a management capacity or in a leadership capacity. We will extend a few invitations to bring more people on board in a management or in a leadership capacity. Again, all of that will be explained in a future webinar. But now, this is what I want everybody to make a note of. When it comes in and a major decision making, we all know that every head is a different world. There might be many different recommendations and suggestions you're being made, and at the end of the day, it needs to be put to a vote. So if we see, like, for example, if we present something or we recommend something, it will be discussed by all of you. You will all be invited to a roundtable discussion, as I like to call it, a webinar, in other words, and all of the ideas will be presented transparently, and everybody will have an opportunity to weigh in, to digest the information presented to them, and then they will be asked, or we will put it to a vote. And as always, the majority will rule. But if in the event that we see certain recommendations or suggestions steering in the wrong direction, that's where we will retain. I mean, in order to prevent that from happening, and to make sure that Route Rising will not steer in an unknown direction, we will remain dead set and committed to only head Route Rising in the right direction. So therefore, the majority of vote will be retained, will be reserved by my nephew Pete and myself. I will retain 41% of the votes, and Pete will retain. I forgot if I have this down correctly, but the bottom line is, between Pete and myself, we will have 51% of the voting right. So the community has 49%, Pete and I have 51% or 50% between the two of us. So therefore, we are in a position, and I want everybody to know this, because we're open and transparent about this, that the reason we decided, Pete and I decided to do it this way, is to make absolutely sure that this project will never be destroyed. It will never be steered in the wrong direction. If somebody detects that something is going wrong, it is now your responsibility, to keep your eye out on what's happening, what's going on, and how things are going, because it is not yours. Like I said, yours as much as it is mine. So that's about all I have to share. Let me just repeat this, this most important thing for everybody to remember and to make a note of it, that just because Wealth Rising is now owned by the community, it's no longer my project, it's yours as much as mine, as it is Pete's. And I know I'm repeating myself, but I want to make sure everybody understands this. When it comes in very important decision making, that between Pete and I, we will retain the rights of the majority of votes. And that's only and exclusively for one reason, and one reason only, to make sure that this project cannot be turned into something that might destroy it. It will never be allowed, to be steered into the wrong direction. That's the only reason why we have decided to do it in this way. So, but with that said, Pete, I'm turning this back to you, and then after you're done, we'll briefly turn it over to open it up for a Q&A, so that will also be recorded, so that everybody can understand or go by what the questions were.
Thank you so much, Gerhard. Just again, appreciate everything that you have shared here, and I'm sure everyone's quite excited about the direction and the future of Wealth Rising. Now think about this for a minute, folks. You are really in a capacity where you are a true part of Wealth Rising. And when I say a true part, I mean being a global cooperative, you are as much an owner here as anyone else, and that, my friends, is pretty different, fairly unique, and I'm pretty excited about it. So Gerhard and I have talked a lot about this, and I want to share something with you. We received quite a bit of feedback via Skype and emails, and we got some really, really interesting feedback over the course of the last few days that was really instrumental in helping us to make some decisions here that were for the better of the community and to ensure the longevity of this project. Because when you spend this many hours, as Gerhard has, and I'm behind the scenes, I've been very involved, even though you haven't heard me, you haven't seen me that much, but you know what, I'm 100% committed to this project, and I just want to see everyone succeed here, and we want to see the unethical hackers and cheaters, and I mean, there are some countries right now that are high on our radar in terms of people that do not have the best interest of the community at heart at all. And they've done some pretty unethical things, and thank goodness we've got this amazing relationship with our North American programmer, who we of course lured down to Belize a number of years ago. He lived with us for a while and settled into the interior, and he's just an awesome friend. We met with him this weekend again, and most of you will notice that Wealth Rising back office has the same feel, the same look as the Crowd Rising back office. Well, because it's the same software, just different programming. But this guy is very, very capable and extremely good at what he does. So we've got a great future here, ladies and gentlemen. And one of the things that I want to share with you real quickly before I do turn it back to Gerhard and we're going to Q&A is we have a very, very large pond that we are starting to fish from here. And what do I mean by that? Well, our Crowd Rising database is 300,000 plus participants in that database. Now, we're starting something very unique in Crowd Rising. The only reason I'm mentioning this on this webinar today is because it's very relevant to Wealth Rising. We're creating a team build in Crowd Rising. And this team build is going to have incentives, many, many incentives to really get people into Wealth Rising, get them started with their sponsor. If they don't have a sponsor with their upline team build member, they'll create a Wealth Rising account for them, and we're going to be comping some $20 PAs in there for them, giving them their $2 account activation fee, so they can just come in, test the waters, feel it, maybe get excited about it, and start sharing it with their peers and their network. So an incredible, incredible vision is at work here right now, ladies and gentlemen, and we expect the numbers for Wealth Rising to really, really soar over the coming weeks and months ahead. Because again, there's a very large network of people, and some of them are very, very good builders. We're going to track those builders over to our Wealth Rising peer-to-peer community here, And we are 100% confident these people are going to be totally excited about what wealth rising is. And for some of them, they may not know Bitcoin too well, or they may not understand the blockchain yet. And it's a bit of a learning curve, and many of them are traditional network marketers, and that's okay. But you know what? You can teach these people very quickly. And that's one of my missions here, just so you folks know, long-term with the Wealth Rising, to start a series of educational webinars, information sessions, get together the right people to help people with their Bitcoin accounts, with the blockchain, anything to do with their wallets, because it's an area that trips many of our newcomers up, and we see that via the support ticket system. So, but what are your thoughts, folks, on having a Wealth Rising official webinar where you can invite your prospects, you can invite your guests to come out and have a look? Now, we're going to need some volunteers, people that do it in different languages, but I'm more than happy to do the odd one here or there and get the ball rolling, do an intro to Wealth Rising, maybe a 20-minute webinar presentation where people can just come in, feel comfortable, ask some questions. Gerhard loves to do the Q&As at the end of the webinar and get people started with whoever the person was that invited them to that webinar. That will be their sponsor in Wealth Rising. So with the crowd rising thing that I mentioned, we've already given away some PA packages to some of our people, and through this contest that we're running, and it's an ongoing thing. One of the last things I'm going to touch on the crowd rising topic is we've got a system formulated where people that are stepping up to the higher stages in crowd rising, the upline is going to allocate 50% of that donation amount and give a complimentary Wealth Rising package to that participant. Now, how great is that when you stop and think about it for a minute? If we can attract 10, 20, 30, 50,000 people into Wealth Rising through a series of promotions, not to mention your efforts, ladies and gentlemen, and what you can do to get out there, when you get excited about something, something magical happens because you've got that confidence now. It's a phenomenal day, and Gerhard, back to you.
Once again, thank you very much, Pete. I am very proud to let the world know that you are my nephew, and it so happens that you are my favorite nephew, and there's many reasons behind that. And one of these days, Pete and I will share the story behind Pete and Uncle G. So that will be on a separate webinar. Let's not go into that. So I just forgot to mention that our awesome assistant admin Vivian to webinar, and my hat goes off to this very special lady, Vivian Williams. The tremendous value that she brings to the table, it's just unheard of what this lady is capable of doing. And those of you that have been with us from the beginning, I'm pretty sure that you agree with me that this lady, is an amazing asset to the entire community. Okay, with that said, let's just quickly turn this over into a Q&A, and let's try to keep it on topic and not mix match, so that we can give you the best answers possible. Let's start off the Q&A. If you have any questions regarding the very first thing that was discussed here today, Wealth Rising now is a global cooperative. Any questions relating to that aspect, the global cooperative? Please be so kind and type your questions in the box. Is the PA system up and running? Yes, it is. Why did you decide to do that? What was it for legal purposes? Well, for us, I'm not exactly sure. Are you referring to converting Wealth Rising into a global cooperative? If that was your question, then there are many reasons behind that, and one of them being is to make sure that this project will not to refer to this project as a money game. I cannot answer that question on a public webinar. That would be in my opinion, that would be the wrong thing to do. I have said everything will always be transparent. Honest, it will be managed ethically, honestly, and transparent. But I'm sure you can understand that I cannot answer your question on a public webinar. That it will be disclosed. There will be private information given out, but that cannot be shared publicly, right? Do you have any new income streams in mind? Yes. We already have 3 of them. There are already 3 affiliate programs in the current portfolio that will be introduced in the very near future. Did you get the HTTPS issue working? Yes. The SSL certificate is in place. We have tested it with various browsers, Chrome, Internet Explorer, Firefox, Safari, and I forgot which others, and all of them have performed flawlessly. Like you punch in the regular link, vaultrising.net, it automatically redirects you to the secure URL that has the S in it. In IRA since 3 days ago, which more than 48 hours. I'm afraid that we can, I cannot go into great detail, but as I have said, there were times that the program had to disable the PA. Therefore, for the duration of the time where the PA was disabled, there could have been no RAs fulfilled. I have said that all of our A's would be fulfilled within 48 hours. It'd be matched with a PA or paid out of the reserve fund. But I hope you can understand that because of the few glitches and bugs that were discovered in the system, it was not possible to carry out that idea of honoring your RAs out of the reserve fund. And the reason for that is because this is an automated system. Once your PA is in the system, whether it's active or it is still pending, and the next person does an RA, it's automatically entered into the system. So therefore, we cannot just say, okay, it's now 48 hours. We will now, you'll just take it out of reserve and pay everybody, because that would just create, a disaster for the system, because the system would continue to monitor and try to match the current PAs with the RAs. We have to allow the programmer time to put this all together in a proper form, where the system will say, okay, this RA has not been fulfilled. It has received either one PA has received a Bitcoin payment from a PA member, but this is still the balance owed. It's now 48 hours. The system will pull it out of the queue and flag it as no longer being fulfilled by the system. Once that happens, that's when we can override the automation and say, okay, great, the time has expired. It's now time to pay the balance, or if it had not been matched, then this RA will not be paid in the full amount out of the reserve fund. So just please bear with us a little longer. It will all come in, fall into place, and it will eventually work as a well-oiled machine. Let me see if I missed any questions here. It scrolls too fast. Boy, there's so many questions that I've already missed. What is the benefit belonging to this co-op as opposed to going it alone? Well, obviously, I would assume that you don't understand exactly how a cooperative works, but for the sake of time, that will be fully explained on a special webinar. What a cooperative is, how our particular cooperative will work, and why. We will clearly point out and show you the reasons why it would be in your best interest to participate in a cooperative, in a joint venture, so to speak, instead of going it alone. Will the early pioneers to Vault Rising be rewarded for joining Vault Rising from the early months of joining and sponsoring members? Walter, the only way that I can answer that question is the rewards in place. I know, and again, I apologize for the delay where the commissions and the leader bonuses are still not being available to use. It was supposed to have been enabled where you could either use the commissions to do new PAs or submit an RA to withdraw your commissions. The programmer has promised to put that in place as soon as the rest of the kinks have been ironed out, because his reasoning is that it makes no sense in adding more commands to the system before the current bugs or whatever the case may be, are still not quite in place or have not quite been made to function appropriately. Okay, the vault writing is now global cooperative. Prospect will be asking to know who is behind Vault Rising. Will it be right to refer to you as the founder chairman? Yes, that is correct. Will the membership get updates from time to time to the status of the CRF? Yes. Again, that will be made available privately. It will never ever be disclosed publicly. And anybody that will make that public knowledge, you will be in clear violation of the terms, and rest assured that if you violate our terms that everybody has to agree to, mind you, those terms will be updated over the next coming days. The terms and agreement will be updated, and anybody found violating the terms that the community will help us put together, then you can fully expect your account to be immediately suspended, not deleted. Don't misunderstand me, but you can fully expect your account to be suspended until an investigation is conducted and the reason has been given, why the account was suspended. Will there always be enough money in the reserve fund to pay all members? That is a very good question, and as I was explaining, this is part of the reason why I suggested that we turn this over into a global cooperative and turn it into a joint venture where we will create multiple streams of outside revenue coming into our reserve fund to make sure that our insurance policy will grow and grow and grow. As the membership grows, as the number of RAs grows, so will we have to make sure that our CRF fund will also grow, right? Gerhard, what are you hinting on with the percentage? I'm sorry, but I'm not quite understanding your question. What are you hinting on with the percentage? That answers my question well. What the lowest percentage we can earn on the in a case of difficulty? As it states in the terms, that Vault Rising has reserved the right to make any adjustments should an adjustment be made necessary. For example, the first thing of any writing on the wall, so to speak, that percentage of the daily growth would be lowered, and the only reason why that would be lowered is to make sure that we not dip too deep into our insurance policy, into the CRF fund. We will make sure that if that happens, and I don't see that happen anytime soon in the near future, but in the event that there's any indication, there's any writing on the wall, then the first thing that will be lowered, and again, this will be presented to you before any changes are made. You will help make the decision what course of action to take. Our job is to keep an eye on it. Our job is to make sure that it's done best, correctly, in the best way possible. And then if we see any indication, any hints, we will immediately call a special webinar, announce it ahead of time, call a special meeting where it will be presented what's going on, what we suggest, and then at the end of the day, it will be you, our fellow cooperative participants, that will decide what to do. For example, if there should ever be a need to lower the percentage of our daily growth, we will, you along with us, we will decide what percentage to adjust it to. The second area to make adjustments would be the affiliate, the referral commissions and the leader bonuses. That would be the next thing that would need to be adjusted accordingly to make sure. And I repeat myself, the only reason there will ever be any changes made in terms of percentages to make sure that our insurance policy, the CRF, will never be depleted. And until then, it will be business as usual. Rest assured, no changes will ever be made without consulting you, our fellow cooperative participants. Are all members funds held in Bitcoin? If so, what would happen if Bitcoin crashed? Yes, everything is in Bitcoin, and if Bitcoin crashed, that's the end of our CRF. All the more reason to create or to go, create multiple streams of income and invest in real hard assets, something that we can fall back on in case there is an economical meltdown or whatever might happen, right? What is the cutoff date for members to register and submit RAs? From the time, let me read this again. What is the cutoff date for members to register and submit PAs? Well, there is really no cutoff. They have 30 days from the minute they sign up. They have a full 30 days to decide what they want to do. If at the end of the 30 days they have not activated their account, they have not paid the one-time $2 activation account setup and activation fee, then they will simply just being plunked out of your community and out of your genealogy and placed in a waiting area where they can sit unrestricted for as long as they want to. Same thing with PAs. If at the end of 30 days they have decided not to participate, no problem. It's 100% optional. They don't have to. If they don't want to, they don't have to. No problem. Will they get deleted? No, not right away. They will be placed in a waiting area where they will be allowed to sit for a long time, and if they still decide not to participate, they will be notified. They will be given a deadline. If they fail to meet that deadline, then they will simply just be removed from the community. Again, the percentages will be adjusted according to what the majority will decide to do, right? If you go lower than 50%, is it possible that it can go back to 50%? Yes. If there ever should be a need to lower the percentages, once the reserve fund, the CRF, is very strong, then by all means we will immediately go back and put it back to the percentage that we are currently working on. Is it possible to send an email notice when these meetings are taking place? Yes, that is possible, and that is a promise that will happen. We will keep posting announcements in the Skype rooms on the Wealth Rising Facebook group page, as well as send out, at the very least, there will be a pop-up ad or a login ad. When you log in, there will be an announcement staring you in the face, reminding you of a date and time of future webinars. What is being done to people who paid their PA but their cash ID state already used? When you see that error, if you enter a correct transaction hash number of the Bitcoin that you transferred, and you get that error already being used, that means that those unscrupulous participants are using software to monitor the blockchain. The very second your transaction hash number shows up, their software captures that hash. They immediately go and use that hash to confirm their own fictitious, bogus PAs. So by the time you, as the legitimate payer, gets your hash and you come back and put it into the system, lo and behold, the system says, hey, wait a minute, this hash number has already been used. It's already been in the system. Therefore, you get that error. It has already been used. But that's where the snooping software comes into place. Our snooping software detects this at a glance. We can go and see, okay, this hash number has been hijacked. This hash number has been stolen. And that snooping software gives us the exact detail, who the participant is that stole this hash, and it issues a complete report of what transpired, who did what happened, the time and the very second it happened. So all of those are systematically, well, not systematically, but they are immediately suspended. The programmer came up with an idea. I have not talked to him since 3 in the morning. He came up with it. He will not tell us. We won't know, because that is his own creation. But there will be something in place that will prevent that from happening. No, there's many different wallets that function perfectly. Many of them have problems. Coinbase, blockchain. There's a multitude of different types of wallets, and they all function differently. But the bottom line is, every Bitcoin transaction has to be confirmed on the blockchain in various blocks. Let's say, for example, you do 2 different transactions. One of them gets confirmed fairly quickly, but your second one can sit there for minutes. It can sit there for hours, and the reason why is because that was being handled by a different block of miners. So therefore, no 2 transactions are usually exactly the same. No need to get worried about. Rest assured that this snooping software is our investigator, our police force. That system notifies immediately if somebody is trying to do something unethically, and they are suspended indefinitely, immediately. All right, folks, that's all the time I have for the Q&A, because this is being recorded. We're already at the top of the hour, so let's just end the Q&A, and rest assured that we will do another webinar very, very soon, and we will have more time for Q&A to make sure that everybody fully understands how everything works. So with that said, I just want to thank everybody from the bottom of my heart, and I'm looking forward to seeing you all back here in the very near future. Like I said, there will be a login announcement. When you log in, the next time we schedule a webinar, it will be announced in Skype, in our Skype rooms, on Facebook, and when you log in, there will be a pop-up message. A lot of you have already seen those pop-up messages or login ads, as we refer to them. There will be a message stare you in the face. Hey, listen, there's a special webinar for this day and this time, and here's the link to join the webinar. So nobody can miss it. When you log in, that will stare you in the face, and after a few seconds you can close it, and it will no longer pop up. Thank you very much, guys. Have an awesome day, and see you in the Skype rooms.